Hey, this is Chris, keeping it real, facts over fear. I want to talk about a couple graphs here on WRAL.com. I'm always looking at these, and the other day I realized, well, I was looking at it and I thought, there's something funny going on, because if I look at this graph here, which shows the total number of new cases, I see that there are, on a 7-day rolling average, there's 1,924 new cases as of yesterday. But if I go down to hospitalizations, I see that there's 1,148 hospitalizations. And I thought, well, that's a rather high percentage. I didn't think it was. I was a little bit confused in trying to compare these two graphs until I realized that this graph is the total number of hospitalizations. And this is a record of the daily new cases. And so in order to make these graphs correspond to one another, you can do one of two things. You can take whatever the 7-day rolling average is and multiply it by 7. So you get about 14,000 new cases, total cases, on a 7-day rolling average. And then you can compare the hospitalizations to the total cases. And so the total hospitalizations are about 7% of, give or take, I don't have my calculator out right now, is about 7%, 1,148 total hospitalizations out of about 14,000 total new cases. Conversely, you can take this graph and say, okay, 1,924 new cases per day. And you can take this figure, 1,148 total hospitalizations, you can divide that number by 7, and you can derive the total new hospitalizations per day. And then once again, these two graphs will correspond to each other in a meaningful way. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Be careful when you're reading graphs from any source, and make sure they're talking about the same thing in the same way. And then you can get some actual idea of what's really going on here. So about 7% of people who test positive end up in the hospital, which is much lower which is good. It's great news. It's much lower than the experts said it was going to be when this pandemic started. So that is really good news. It's still a lot of people, but we in North Carolina anyway, we're not anywhere near overwhelming any hospital system at all. There's still plenty of beds left. We're running about 80% capacity on both ICU and regular beds, and there's plenty of ventilators left. So this state is faring well. All right, got any questions or comments? Leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do, and we'll see you on the next fact-filled video.